Foxtrot Delivery has arrived. Guys,
Did we just receive a delivery?
we did.
All right.
From our very first kind of spot on the map. It's edible, so we're all gonna have a little bit of a treat. So Sean, let's talk about convenience stores. They're not really what they used to be.
I mean, the funny thing about current trend in C-store and convenience feels like it used to be a non-experience, and now there's this new generation of convenience stores that is less about the convenience the way we used to think about it and more about the actual experience of it.
Yeah, and I mean, talking about experience, we checked out Foxtrot, which is a C-store based out of Chicago. They have several locations popping up in Dallas and Washington, across the states, hopefully. But their main focus is actually that destination that they're building out at each of their stores, at their locations. So yes, you can order through their app, and it's a fantastic experience to have all of that fresh food and coffee or whatever else that you want delivered to you. But when you go to their actual store, you get a very localized community-based experience, which is unique to where that location is, which I think is fantastic and awesome. And one particular way in which this plays out was the development of their espresso martini that they recently have released for.
Not something your average
purchase.
Convenience store is developing.
I mean, but I'd get that any day. But they basically partnered with their coffee roaster partner in Chicago, Metric, and they went through this sort of trial process to create this delicious combination of espresso and vodka to create a perfectly curated espresso martini for their customers.
That sounds lovely. I would have loved to be in on those trials.
Me too. So, I mean, based off that though, like, how do you think Foxtrot differentiates itself from other food delivery services?
Yeah, the 1,000 other food delivery systems out there. I mean, maybe that's the key point. It feels like those systems are UX only. There is no destination. You know, I load Uber, it's an app, and that's it. DoorDash, Postmates, etc. Foxtrot is sort of saying, like, we want a physical incarnation of our brand. Yes, we'll do delivery, but we want it to bring you back to the destination also.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't want it to just be about getting the food expeditiously, right? But speaking of speed, let's talk about GoPuff.
Yeah, fast, faster, and fastest seems like the arms race that GoPuff and others are in right now. Bringing it down to 30 minutes, SLA I think is GoPuff.
Yep.
10 minutes I've seen in the grocery category. Somebody will get it down to 1 minute. I'm not sure exactly what that looks like, but that's a wildly different endeavor than we saw at Foxtrot.
Absolutely, and we're going to actually check out GoPuff's recent partnership with Hyatt.
So we're here at the Hyatt. They've just announced a new partnership with GoPuff for convenience items and things that you may have forgotten. Some of us are out of practice packing, might be autobiographical. And so if you've forgotten something, Hyatt is making it dead easy for you to get that toothbrush, get that deodorant, get that item, chips, pop, anything else. This builds on a program they already had called Necessities, but Necessities is only a certain kind of assortment. And so the data footprint that they're now able to get out of this partnership with GoPuff is, what else are you yearning for? What else are you interested in? That wasn't part of the necessities. You know, toothbrushes and whatnot would be things you'd expect a hotel to carry. But do they have a USB stick? Do they have a particular drink that you like? Do they have? GoPuff's got a very wide, broad assortment. And so they're able to bring that to the table in exchange for Hyatt becoming better and better aware on how to cater to you, how to personalize for you, and what they might have been missing in the necessities assortment.
So, full disclosure, out of practice in packing for travel, and GoPuff was kind of a welcome addition to that new customer need, right? The experience of showing up in another city and I forgot socks, the traditional stuff like toothpaste that I always forget, and you know, things like sunscreen I needed all of a sudden.
I mean, we all need sunscreen.
The neat part of the app is it's exactly what you would expect. You know, you can, on your phone, browse product, search product, find product. The assortment is a lot more than what a typical hotel would normally stock.
Yeah.
And I want to say that I got a notification inside 15 minutes that it had been fulfilled. That's like next level cray-cray to go that fast.
Yeah, I mean, and the way they're able to provide that service is by having over 3,000 micro-fulfillment centers across the United States. But we're going to hear more about GoPuff. GoPuff is expanding really, really quickly, and Hyatt, I think, is locking onto that. And in a similar trend to what you're seeing with Accor as well, with Accor Hospitality, their membership program actually launched something called All Safe, which is a hygiene and safety program that you can tell like how safe a room is, how safe your hotel is. You get the ranking on your phone, you get all of that.
To the consumer, going back to the guest to be like, here's the rating on like the safety, cleanliness of this room, that room, this room.
And you get that before you even go in. So there's this trend, I think, especially post-pandemic, of adding in safety and convenience back into all of the consumers and your guests that are coming back into hospitality. GoPuff adds on to that. Where they're getting anything that they need once you get into a hotel. Whether it's hand sanitizer, whether it's things you don't trust to be touched, maybe you get GoPuff to just deliver it. So one of the questions that we heard there was actually this concept of late night snacks, right? Like getting that Snickers bar when you're really hungry, and that being the beginnings of their offering. And really, GoPuff actually started in that way. It was started by two students who stocked up on a lot of late night goodies in their cabinets, and they drove around, providing these snacks to people, their family, their friends, whoever was on campus. And they did this so often that they started mocking up an app on the back of a napkin, eventually turning this into an app with a name that stuck and has now, grown to be GoPuff.
I think that's so neat, the human need, the consumer need, restricted, can't get the snacks late night, so I'm going to stockpile them, and then I'm not the only one who feels this way, so I'll deliver them out. That's what's so neat about this period of time. We've lived through lots of restriction, and now there's remedies to all of that restriction.
Yeah, absolutely. So GoPuff really doubles down on this concept of expediency, timeliness. But this concept of time can be explored in different ways, and there is another retailer that we want to talk about and explore a little bit more.
Yeah, Amazon has owned the idea of time for a long time, but the way they're incarnating it in this C-store and convenience space is very different than the way GoPuff is going at it. So let's have a look on the ground and see their experience in Chicago.
Here we are at Amazon Go. This is another of our C-store spaces that we are exploring today. The first that was Foxtrot. We also talked about GoPuff and their partnership with Hyatt. But Amazon Go is another example of innovation that's happening in the C space, or the convenience store space here.
If you want to go into Amazon Go, now's a good time. I would encourage you, try and shoplift something. The developers who worked on the system were actually challenged. The company said okay, your job is to make it bulletproof. If any of you can beat the system, you personally will get Amazon Go purchases for an entire year, anything you want, no holds barred kind of deal. And so they regularly as a team will go down and try and fake out the system. We're both wearing black and I stand behind you and I kind of I move my arm in a way that looks like it could have been your arm and I slide it right in my bag. It still picks me up.
That's hilarious.
So try. I promise you're in no danger of being arrested for shoplifting.
So did you get charged for that, Sean?
Yes. There's been many times that I have taken groups to try and fool that set of technology. It is near impossible. I think that actually leads to some of the other innovations that they're working on, right? Amazon One is meant to be this Palm, pay with Palm kind of experience. And in the conversations you and I have had about this, there's something that doesn't feel quite right about, there's already no friction in that experience. I walk through the gate, I grab something, I leave through the gate. Now I'm gonna hold out my palm in order to confirm the payment. That seems like an interesting test, but probably for other purposes, not really to add more security to this already turbo frictionless,
Yeah.
turbo secure thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can feel more secure as it's, linked directly to you. But what we've actually found out is that Amazon is working on a new POS system, and Amazon One, this biometric payment system, would actually integrate with this POS system. Now, the interesting thing about this new system that they're developing is it's rumored to be the competitor to Shopify, and I believe Amazon will be offering it to non-Amazon retailers, which is particularly interesting when you think about all of the data inputs that Amazon will then have, because not only will they have your e-commerce history, your purchases that you're already making through Amazon Prime, they will then have your brick and mortar purchases that you are doing through POS. They will have your biometric information to link it to directly if they desire to. But further to that, they're actually, and again, this is not completely confirmed yet, but they are working on loyalty offerings that may be customized to merchants through this POS system as well. So you would then get loyalty information on top of everything else that you are receiving.
Yeah, the race that's going on between an Amazon, the way you're describing, a Shopify, a Square, at the POS level, at every part of the transaction, somebody is trying to aggregate their competitive set in order to advantage themselves with more data, more insight, more understanding on a customer-to-customer level. I'm not totally surprised to hear Amazon doing that. I wonder how smaller retailers will feel in adopting said POS system, but time will tell. One of the things that this makes me feel about the convenience, ease, frictionless in the last thing that we saw in Chicago, which was Starship.
Oh yeah, Starship Delivery.
The tiny robots, no human involved, navigating the streets by themselves to deliver you your sandwich or whatever you've ordered. Wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's currently only offered at University campus in Chicago, but you are going to see that popping up in different places. I mean, here in Toronto, we have seen equivalents, the little pink robots that go around. So it's, it's not something completely new. We're seeing a lot more that's coming out in the market in that way. But I think this leads us to the question of, as retailers, where do all of these aspects come into play? Whether we're looking at, what we saw with Foxtrot in terms of community-oriented, customized experiences, or with GoPuff, which is hyper-convenient, speed, and then with Amazon Go, this consolidation of various data inputs, everything from e-commerce to loyalty layered on each other. How do all of these things come into play, when you're thinking about your offering as a retailer?
Yeah, what's a retailer to do? Aggregate or get aggregated seems to be the kind of name of the game right now in one aspect or another. On the delivery, at the POS, in the e-commerce infrastructure, somewhere there's a bit of gamesmanship happening about who is going to end up top of the stack to see absolutely all of the data down.
Well, thank you for joining us for this particular episode. We will see you next time.